He had a blue car. He loved his blue car. It was dark blue. It had 4 doors. It was not a new car. It was an old car. But it had new tires. It had new black tires. All 4 tires were new. He felt safe with his new tires. They would not blow out. He could drive everywhere with his new tires. His car was dirty. He needed to wash it. The windows were dirty. The doors were dirty. The hood was dirty. The trunk was dirty. The bumpers were dirty. The tires weren't dirty. They were new tires. They were black and shiny. They looked good. He did not have to wash his tires, but he did have to wash his car. He put water into a bucket. He put a sponge into the bucket. He washed his car with the sponge. He dried his car with a towel. His car was shiny blue now. It looked like new. Now his old car was as shiny as his new tires. The TV reporter coughed. Then she coughed again. The other TV reporter was worried. "Are you okay?" he asked. She couldn't answer. She continued to cough. She coughed and coughed. The other reporter dialed 911. "What is the emergency?" the 911 person asked. "I think my friend is dying," said the reporter. "What is your address?" asked the 911 person. "We are at 123 West Hill Street," said the reporter. "Someone will be right there," said the 911 person. But then the woman stopped coughing. She said she was fine. She said thanks to the other reporter. He said, "You're welcome." He called 911 again. He said the emergency was over. He said his friend was okay. She would not die. She was going to live. The 911 person was glad to hear that. Dark clouds were in the sky. The sun went down. The weather got cold. The wind started to blow. Leaves blew off the trees. Paper flew through the air. People buttoned their jackets. The rain started to fall. At first, it was quiet. Then it got louder. It was a storm. The rain was very loud. The man couldn't hear his TV. He turned up the volume. Now he could hear his TV. He looked outside his door. He looked at the rain. It was pouring off his roof. It was a flood. Then he saw lightning. Then he heard thunder. It was a very cold night. The rain changed to hail. The hail was very noisy. He turned up the TV volume again. Now he could hear his TV again. He watched TV for a while. Then he looked outside again. All the cars were white. The street was white. The ground was white. The hail covered everything. The hail looked just like snow. He wanted to make a big snowman, but you can't make a snowman out of hail. You can only make a snowman out of snow. The baby bird was in his nest. He was in his nest with his sister. Their nest was high up in the tree. They were waiting for Mama Bird. Mom always brought them food. They were hungry. When would Mom come home? Would she bring them a worm? Would she bring them a fish? Would she bring them a piece of bread? What would Mom bring them? They looked at the squirrel. The squirrel looked at them. The squirrel put a nut in their nest. The birds looked at the nut. How could they eat a nut? They didn't have strong teeth. The squirrel has strong teeth. The baby birds had no teeth. They had beaks, but no teeth. They heard Mom. They knew her voice. They knew the sound of her wings. She brought them some food. It was still warm. It was delicious. It was pizza. It was pizza with cheese. Baby birds love pizza with cheese. They were so happy. How delicious. He looked at his watch. It was time for the bus. Where was the bus? He was at the bus stop. He stood up. He looked down the street. No bus. He looked up the street. No bus. Where in the world was the bus? It was time for the bus to arrive. He sat down on the bench. It was getting cold. The wind was blowing. He didn't have a jacket. He was wearing shorts. He was wearing flip-flops. His head was cold. His arms were cold. His legs were cold. His feet were cold. His toes were cold. His toes were turning blue. Where was the bus? He stood up again. He looked down the street. He saw the bus. It was coming. In a minute, he would be on the warm bus. In a minute, his nose would be warm. His hands would be warm. His whole body would be warm. How nice. The bus arrived, but it didn't stop. It kept going. It was the wrong bus. He looked at his watch again. Where was the bus?